I'd like to call the meeting to order. Could I have a roll call, please?
Belsley.
Here.
Blunier. Dobb.
Here.
Hare. Herman. Here. Kaufman.
Here.
Rainson.
Here. Pledge allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have a quick public hearing. The public hearing is on the annual appropriations ordinance. Did you want to say anything about that in your role as administrator?
Not really.
Does anyone have a comment? Okay, we're going to vote on this a little bit later. I would declare the public hearing closed. Can I do that?
Yes, sir.
Special reports. We are pleased to have with us again the EDC Director, Leanne Brown, and she's going to talk to us about the EDC and its progress for the last quarter.
Okay, well, thank you for the welcome again. Great to be here, this time representing Morton Economic Development Council. And we've had a great long-standing, obviously, partnership with the village. And when the EDC was established in 2008, we have specific goals and initiatives, and just are thrilled to be here to give you a update. I believe that last update you had was at our annual luncheon, which was in January. And so I wanted to provide an update on, excuse me, from the first and second quarter of 2016. So we'll get started here. Go ahead and go to the next one there, Roger. I'm sorry that this one cuts off, but I know the trustees have this information in their packet. But this is always a good time to reflect on our mission and goals, and why the EDC was established, and our core goals that we focus on and develop our strategies around. And as I mentioned, we were established in 2008 around these core goals. And during that time, we launched the Morton in Motion, which was our first 5-year campaign that was from 2008 through 2012. And that really set into motion our next 5 years, which we're going to talk about today, is the Make It Morton campaign. And the Make It Morton campaign runs from 2012 to 2016. But this is also a good time to recognize the many board members, board of directors that we have involved in the EDC, as they dedicate a lot of time to the organization, focused on the goals and making sure our strategic plan moves forward. Go ahead, Roger. And so specifically, the Make It Morton campaign, which again is the 2012 to 2016 campaign, is a specific 5-year initiative to develop high-quality job growth, sales tax generation in Morton to benefit our community and our region. So go ahead, Roger. We'd like to go through some specific goals. During this campaign, so again, 2012 to 2016, a number one goal is job creation. We have a total goal of 750 new jobs created for Morton through the EDC efforts, collaboration, and partnerships. Tracking so far, we are at 761.5. That's because we go based on full-time equivalent, and that is tracking from 2012 to June of 2016. In these job creation numbers, to name some specifics, and I'll get into that in our report to give you a better idea of where those jobs are coming from. Goal 2, also want to pay attention to our commercial and industrial construction numbers. We have a benchmark here that was set in 2012 of $43 million. We are tracking, as you can see there, 71, almost 72 million from 2012 to June of 2016. We also focus on retail sales tax, and we wanted to set a benchmark of 15 million. That's a 10% increase, and we are tracking at 16.8, again through June of this year. And goal number 4, 20 new business locations. This is measured through our collaboration with clients and is reported to us from our clients, obviously, on those new locations. We are tracking 34 to date from 2012 to, again, June. Some of these, to give you specifics, would be Farm and Fleet, Monsanto, which is John Deere, Precision Planning, Sam Lehman, Millennia, the Maui Teeth Whitening located downtown, KAM Shooting Sports, Lee Nails and Spa, Sherwin-Williams, Casey's, the Great American Popcorn, Heartland Vet Clinic, the Bean Scene. Obviously, I wasn't here for all those years, so I don't have the exhausted list readily available, but that's some key ones over the years that I'm aware of and can directly remember. Go ahead, Roger. So go through some specifics of our impacts through our strategic plan. We have to date for the first and second quarter of 2016, 46.5 full-time equivalent new jobs created. And this is derived directly from our microgrants and enterprise zone projects. The microgrants, we have issued out 6 microgrants so far this year. And those are, give you some specifics here. Misha's Bean Scene, KAM Shooting Sports, Good Shepherd Defense and Training, CrossFit Morton, the Element Construction LLC, and Safari Bowl. So there is the 25.5. And then through the enterprise zone projects, there was another job creation of 21, which stemmed from La Fiesta, Heartland Veterinary Clinic, and the Climate Corp. Also looking at 3.9 million in new construction industrial permits. Some of those company specifics that have applied for enterprise zone improvements would be, of course, Nestle and Caterpillar. They constantly do improvements to their sites. La Fiesta, the Element Mixed Use, Heartland Vet Clinic, and then again the Climate Corp. So you know where some of those permits are coming from. There's other commercial and industrial permits that maybe didn't go through a specific program that would be included in those numbers. The 21 business retention visits. We try and get out there often to meet with our companies, and this is something that over the coming months, now that I've been here for a couple months, we'll really make a greater push to get out there and meet with existing companies. The first round of facade grants, there was 4 grants awarded to businesses. This has been a great program to really make use of the business district dollars and reinvest into existing businesses, improves the structure of those buildings, and improves the aesthetics of those locations. For the first and second quarter, working with 12 business attraction clients. These in your report there, you can see I broke down by industry. We met with 5 industrial clients, 10 retail, and 6 service providers. And, hopefully some of these will turn into additional business opportunities. Out of some of those, the facade, enterprise zone, and micro grant opportunities were derived from those meetings. And again, just going back to the facade program, this really does reinvest those business district dollars wisely, and I know we have some opportunities to maybe look at furthering that program and enhancing other programs. Okay, Roger, go ahead and go next one. Some of the additional programs and initiatives that we have in the works that tie into our strategy of obviously promoting specific sites, working with our existing businesses, but we also want to hone in on small business growth, and we have opportunities there of working with our existing businesses, making sure that they're aware of the resources. The Memorial Plaza and AC Church lot, obviously exciting upcoming months with those two locations with additional opportunities to connect with small businesses, home businesses, and additional Morton market opportunities. Looking at utilizing current resources such as the business district for additional loan and grant programs. That's under or will be under discussion. Focus on workforce pipeline. Any more businesses, it's not just location, it's workforce. And what availability do you have for a workforce, and what tools are supporting and quality of life for those employees. And through that, our business, our Morton Leadership Program has created a program called Morton Mentor, and you will see this being launched in the spring of 2017. We also have a lot of great partnerships with the Greater Peoria EDC. They, over the last several months, launched their Live GP website, and that really focuses on workforce, how to live here, how to work here, quality of life, and Morton has specific information on that site, but it's really about building our region. Retail development. In October, I will be attending the ICSC, the International Council of Shopping Centers, deal making in Chicago. So we'll be taking available sites up there that are a retail fit and be able to present those to developers and real estate brokers. And then continued focus on entrepreneur, small business, and innovation. And we were excited to recently host, through the Greater Peoria EDC, they have their Key Start Pitch Night program, and we were able to host that pitch night here at Seasons. We had about 55 attendees and heard from 3 business growth opportunities that pitched their idea to a panel of judges, and then one was selected to win $10,000 that night. So it was a pretty exciting night and a great way to make sure that Morton and Tazewell County is aware of entrepreneur resources through the startup initiative and network throughout our region. And next there, Roger, I think that's just time if we want to take any time for a few questions, but much more detail in the report there. Would be happy to answer any questions now or include in my contact information there. Please feel free to call me, email me with any questions.
Leanne, first of all, thank you for the presentation. Good information, and you did a good job.
Great.
Business retention is always, obviously, that's a key initiative of any economic development program like that, and it's at the heart and soul a lot of times of our own business community, of course. And so I liked it that you seen, or that we saw, you had 21 calls, I believe, that you made. And
Yeah.
I'm just curious, is there anything, without naming names, that you're able to share with the board, that key takeaways or a common theme or anything like that, that businesses in our community shared with you that would be beneficial for us as a board to know in terms of for planning purposes? Or
A lot of them question infrastructure projects of updates of where those are at. They like to see the construction projects happening, but of course, a lot of them, especially if they're inbound, outbound with truck and moving their product, those timelines on those projects they're interested in. Obviously, resources available to them as they plan out their initiatives over the coming months or the coming years. They need to be aware of the specific tools and programs that all of us have collaborated on and created that they can tap into. Make sure that they're aware of that. The workforce initiatives, and really the quality of life components. So the development that happens in the downtown district, events that take place, the reinvestment from all of our organizations to host those types of activities are key for businesses. And they like to know how they can reinvest back into the community as well.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Leanne, thank you so much for the
Yeah,
presentation.
you're
I
welcome.
appreciate it. Very scientific. We have another presentation. This one is on the Communications Center. I see we've got several people. Tammy came in, and we have some others who represent the Peoria or Pekin Tazewell Communications. Chief, who's going to be making the presentation?
We have two members of the Tazewell County Emergency Telephone Systems Board that have been working as part of a committee on a consolidation that has been mandated by the state. And that's our director, Rich Mendenhall, and Tammy Conover will be talking tonight about what their work has been on their part of the committee for us, as well as what's going on with the state, what they're mandating, what steps we've taken so far and where we're at and where we still have to go.
Who's going to speak first? Please go to the podium. Could you give your number to the clerk so that, or your name and number and so forth, so that she can get it in the record?
My name is Richard Mendenhall, and I'm with the Tazewell County Emergency Telephone System Board.
Thanks.
And ultimately, as the chief said, there's some changes that's being mandated to 911. In a county the size of Tazewell County, we have to reduce our PSAPs, which is where the 911 calls come into, by half. We currently have 4. Morton, East Peoria, Washington, and TASCOM are the 4 communications centers. TASCOM's already a consolidated center. So ultimately, we have to bring East Peoria, Morton, and Washington together to comply with the law. By June 30th of this year, we had to have a waiver or a consolidation plan submitted to the state police. We filed for a waiver, which is not a permanent waiver, it's an extension. We're asking for 5 years. And on July 6th, we had a hearing on our waiver, and we're waiting basically to hear back the results. And that's the first step. We got 2 more steps to go through before we get a final say on our waiver. And
The mayors of Washington, East Peoria, and myself also filed petitions to ask for the extension.
yes, and during the hearing, I presented that to the law judge, and she put it in with our files. So,
Great.
and that's pretty much.
Before we ask for questions, is Tammy, are you or the chief going to talk?
I can add a little bit.
Come on up and fill us in a little bit.
My name's Tammy Conover. I'm a ETSB member, board member, and I'm also the director of the Tazewell Pekin Consolidated Communications Center. I'm on the subcommittee to look into and try to plan for the consolidation for our county. I know the state has mandated and unfunded this, but I'm looking at it as an opportunity for the 4 PSAPs to come together. I know I've talked to my board, and they're willing to extend an invitation to join together the 4 PSAPs and become one, and then rename, redo bylaws, redo intergovernmental agreements, etc., and then maybe split up and have a backup for one another, have redundant equipment so that should something happen at my place, flood, fire, anything, we could pick up, go to the North Center, plug in, and continue to work without, anyone ever noticing. That's way down the road, but at least you have to kind of plan and take the opportunity. And that's the way I'm looking at it. Although it's not favorable to everyone, then we have to start making it favorable to everyone. And to me, that's our opportunity to come together and become one and do what we can, what's best for the future of Tazewell County communications. So.
Nick, did you want to add anything to that?
Sure. My name is Nick Graff. I'm a board member for the Tazewell County Board. I've been appointed to the ETSB by the board. I serve currently as the Emergency Telephone Systems Board Treasurer. Tammy said it was an unfunded mandate, and it is an unfunded mandate. Obviously, those of you that know me know I'm very familiar with the communications system here in Morton, as well as East Peoria and Washington. This is truly an unfunded mandate because there's really no money coming from the ETSB to fund this consolidation. We were supposed to be receiving roughly a 5% increase in the surcharge funding, and we haven't seen that. We had monies withheld because of the budget crisis to the point where we had to borrow $200,000 from Tazewell County to continue operations. We're supposed to be receiving about $1.4, $1.3 million per year, and it's turned out to it's less than $1 million. So we're not going to build buildings and consolidate dispatch centers on $1 million a year. It's just not going to happen. So the burden of this cost is going to fall on the cities of Washington, East Peoria, and the village of Morton. There's no way around it unless the village, and I wouldn't recommend this, undertook a degrading in services by having 911 calls answered in another community and then dispatched in Morton, which would add time response to when I have that heart attack or whoever has that heart attack. That's a phone transfer, and that adds seconds to that response of the paramedics. So that's not what we want to do. But unfortunately, the county from the ETSB isn't in a position to tell the communities what you need to do. This really needs to be a decision between Morton, Washington, and East Peoria. We've asked for the 5-year extension. We hope and we will be granted that. But this, if you're going to maintain services the way they should be maintained, and I encourage you as a resident of Morton to do that, it's going to cost the village of Morton more money than it has in the past.
Yeah, if people are thinking that we're just delaying this because we don't know what to do, that's not it. We can't just take the equipment we've got and reuse it. We'd have to buy a lot of brand new equipment to make this work. Very, very expensive stuff. We're not going to get any help from the state. So we need some time to just, if for no other reason than to be able to put the financing together to do this. Chief, did you want to?
To reiterate sort of what they're saying is the facilities that we've got now in place aren't big enough to handle. We're going to need at least some place to house 6 to 8 dispatch consoles in it. Right now, the maximum that we can get is 4, as well as you're going to have equipment room for all the equipment as well. East Peoria and Washington aren't big enough either. So we're going to have to look at a facility where we're going to be able to house it at. TASCOM, even though that they've got the facility to house their stuff, they need all new equipment. What they didn't say is this What we're on now is enhanced 911. What we're looking to go to is next generation 911. So that's your videos come through, texting, and that type of information coming through from the callers. So none of us have the equipment, and we're hoping come January when the grants open up that we'll be able to get some grant money there from the state. But they have let it be known that the priority for them is to give it to counties, and believe it or not, there's 11 counties here in Illinois that don't have 911. So their priorities are for them with their grant money. So, get what we can, but unfortunately, a lot of the cost of the burden is going to fall on those communities and how we put this together to be able to do it. The state will say that the whole purpose of this is to try to save money. I don't see it. I see it being nothing but a major cost factor for everybody, especially on the initial, and how much time goes by till we actually do start seeing any monies, if at all.
Do any of the trustees have any questions concerning this? You can always ask the chief later if you think of something. If not, thank you very much for the presentation.
Thank you.
At this point in the meeting, we will entertain any public comments anyone would like to make. Or if there are no public comments, we will entertain anyone who would like to pull something from the consent agenda. The consent agenda includes minutes from our July 5th meeting and approval of the bills for this month. There being none, can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda? Can I have a second? Second by Belsley. Any discussion? If not, would you please call the question?
Belsley,
Yes.
Blunier,
Yes.
Dobb,
Yes.
Herman. Yes. Kaufman.
Yes.
I have something very sad to report. I think probably most of you are aware that Joel Knoll, who is our village clerk and who has served in various capacities throughout the years, is terminally ill and has resigned as village clerk. I'm reluctant to just rush out and appoint somebody for the trustees to approve without really thinking this through, and so what I would like to do in the meantime is appoint our administrator as interim clerk so that we have someone who can witness the proper documents and sign some things that the village clerk has to sign. And to that end, I would like a motion to approve.
So moved.
Approved by Ginger, second by Jeff. Any questions?
Thank you for doing that, Julie. You're welcome.
Would you call the question, please?
Blunier,
Yes.
Dobb,
Yes.
Herman,
Yes.
Kaufman,
Yes.
Belsley.
Yes.
Just so you know, we're doing the proper thing after the meeting. We're going to have council swear her in officially. Village Administrator.
I have one item tonight, Your Honor. It's ordinance number 16-01, an ordinance making appropriations for corporate purposes for the fiscal year beginning May 1st, 2016, and ending April 30th, 2017.
May I have a motion?
So moved.
A second? Second by Dobb. Any discussion? Call the question, please.
Dobb,
Yes.
Herman,
Yes.
Kaufman,
Yes.
Belsley,
Yes.
Blunier.
Yes.
That's all I have
I
tonight.
skipped over interim village clerk. Do you have anything? Put your clerk hat on. Do you have anything?
No, nothing tonight.
Chief of Police,
Nothing tonight here.
Corporate Counsel,
Nothing tonight, Your Honor.
Director of Fire,
Nothing tonight, Your Honor.
Director of Public Works.
I have several items tonight, Your Honor. First is item A, resolution number 07-16. This is a resolution authorizing PUET's agreement. This is our annual funding towards that in the amount of $5,596.18.
So moved.
Second? Second, Rod Boone.
Next item is,
Well, why don't
your
we
discussion,
vote on this?
sorry.
Let's have a little discussion. One of the things you might point out is what a bargain this is for us. I mean, we get
Oh, yeah.
$5,000 and receive a great deal more than that back.
Yeah, and most recently, Detroit Avenue, the funds to the tune of 1.9 million we've received through PUATs.
If there are no questions, would you call it, please?
Herman,
Yes.
Kaufman,
Yes.
Belsley,
Yes.
Blunier,
Yes.
Dobb,
Yes.
Next.
Next item again. Item B in your packets is the Public Works recap for the month of June. That's all I have tonight, Your Honor.
Thank you. Planning and zoning.
One item tonight, Your Honor, somewhat of a continuation from last month. I wasn't here, but the ordinance is before you. It's ordinance 1624, rezoning 412 South Main Street to R1. And you may have heard this, but sometime through the years, and I don't know when this would have happened, that property, somehow, part of it had a zoning of B2, and the portion with the house had an R1 zoning. And it wasn't until the property came up for sale and somebody called me, and I looked at it on our map, and I thought, how can that one parcel have two different zoning classifications? So we are correcting that. By doing this, the whole piece will be zoned R1, and it matches everything else in that neighborhood.
Do you want to correct the number?
The only item, as I misnumbered this originally, it's actually ordinance number 16-02.
Yeah, I just want to get it in the minutes the same way. We have a motion. Could I have a second? Second, Belsley. Any discussion? Call the question.
Kaufman,
Yes.
Belsley,
Yes.
Blunier,
Yes.
Dobb,
Yes.
Herman,
Yes.
Trustee Belsley.
Nothing this evening, Your Honor.
Trustee Blunier.
I do have one thing. The Business District Commission met recently, and they've made recommendations for 9 additional facade grant applications. And I would go into a little bit of the description, but Leanne touched on that in her presentation, so I think it's pretty clear what those are. So I'd like to make a motion to approve that.
Second.
Second by Jeff. Any discussion? I would point out that the people who make these choices do a really good job and are very careful.
And it amounted to $50,720.40, so it's a nice grant round.
Call the question.
Belsley,
Yes.
Blunier,
Yes.
Dobb,
Yes.
Herman,
Yes.
Kaufman.
Yes.
Anything else?
Just to let Leanne know that I learned a lot more tonight about the EDC than I knew before, so great job of describing what you do, your goals and objectives, and I'm really glad you're here running that.
Trustee Dobb.
Nothing tonight.
Trustee Hare isn't here. Trustee Herman.
Nothing tonight, Your Honor.
Trustee Kaufman.
Just one item, Your Honor. I've been working on an update, an audio-visual system for the Freedom Hall here with Trustee Blunier, and we've been working on it for a year and a half, so I would like to make a motion to approve the expense of $17,522 to Kaiser Electronics.
Second.
Second by Dobb. Any discussion?
I have a couple comments, if that's okay. Jeff's been working on this a long time, and I got involved in it because I have some experience in that arena. And it really began to make sense as Jeff was describing why he's doing this. So I wanted to at least elaborate on that a little bit. And I think tonight's presentation is a good example of why this system might be of value. The presentation that we had really didn't fit on the screen. The mayor had to get up to move for the presentation. If this were an overflow crowd tonight, they'd be sitting in that room and they wouldn't be able to see anything, and they'd barely be able to hear. With this new system, the folks in that room will be able to see and hear what's going on. You'll have monitors within this room, and your sound will be much clearer. So if any of you have ever watched one of our meetings online, I don't think it represents where we're at in this village in terms of progressing forward. If businesses are coming into this town, they're looking at these village board meetings to see what's being talked about and where we're going. And I think that the new system will better reflect where this village is in moving forward and the type of quality we build into the village. We'll also serve the village folks better, the citizens better, by providing a better visual and audio of what we do here. So I support Jeff in this wholeheartedly.
The idea was so that the public can see what's going on and understand it by the visuals, from public works, from the sewers, sidewalks, the whys and hows we're doing it, because some of those projects, like Greenwood, has taken 3 years to finish it, so they can understand why there's blacktop sidewalks, repairs. I had a niece buy a house, and they wondered why their sidewalks were blacktop in front. So a lot of this stuff can be explained, and I think the public does watch them. I've been told the video will be 4 times better, and the sound will be 4 times better.
If you watched last week's presentation, Craig was up spending quite a bit of time explaining one of the projects, and I'm sure that the camera zoomed in the best that it could on that, whereas that actual picture would be on a screen in its clarity and make it a lot easier for everyone to understand. So that's another thing.
And the idea behind working with the Park District, we've looked at adding on to the Village Hall the last few years. That's going to be quite an expense. So I've been talking to the Park District, and they are willing to spend the money for the video and the screen they're spending around $6,700, $6,800, and we're providing the TV screens and other items. And this facility is already being paid by the taxpayers, whether you're paying Park District taxes or village. This building is being heated and air conditioned, and we rent it for a very nominal fee, cheaper than we could own something. So my idea was, if we enhance this facility, even as I went to Trustee Herman's birthday party here, and we had a screen here with the same kind of lousy setup as we have tonight. Today you can bring your laptop in, plug it in, and it can just be strolling on the screen. So the idea was to bring the existing facility we have, the parking lot's paid for, everything's paid for, and just bring it up to today's standards. So anybody that uses it for special events, our boards, if the school board had a big deal, they could come in here. The Park District had thought about spending more money, and they usually use the other room for their meeting room, and they decided they were going to use this room when they have big events and expansions of parks, so they can explain it better to the public. So the idea was just to make it better communication. I've talked to realtors, and the first thing businesses do is watch our programs to see how we are doing. So I think we need to be, like Trustee Blunier said, a little forward thinking.
I just had a question. I see we got one proposal from Kaiser Electronics. Were there other competitive proposals?
That's who the Park District felt comfortable with. It's their building. So we've been meeting with them since January. I started off with Jeff Bediger and making sure what we can do, because through the process, you probably, all of you know, but me being a contractor, I didn't. There's finger technology, so Mr. Laudermel can sit there with his laptop and draw on the screen with any questions. And I thought we should have that technology when, this year alone, we're spending $10 million in capital projects. And we heard our EDC members liking us to do that. So it's just communication was the goal.
Any other questions? Call it.
Blunier,
Yes.
Dobb,
Yes.
Herman,
Yes.
Kaufman,
Yes,
Belsley.
Yes.
that's all I have, Your Honor.
Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second? That's a tie. I'm going to give it to Dobb. Thank you,
All in
folks.
favor?
Yeah, all in favor?